Hello and welcome to Bread of Life, a daily devotional program which each week features a different area pastor. Our speaker for this week is Pastor Roger Viksnes of East Heartland.
Luke chapters 5 through 8 is heavily saturated with accounts of Jesus' many miracles. Not for entertainment reasons, for the reader, but to shine the light on the fact that this Jesus, this is the Son of God. And he is both powerful and full of compassion. He's greater than sickness, greater than diseases, even greater than death. And the disciples have had a front row seat for all of it. But in chapter 8, something happens to cause the disciples to both be filled with fear and amazement, and to also ask each other, who is this? The setting for this miracle is a boat on the Sea of Galilee. In verse 22 of chapter 8, Jesus says to his disciples, let's go over to the other side of the lake. Now, tomorrow we're going to look at the amazing thing that happens on that other side. But for today, it's the journey that is the focus. Luke tells us that while they sailed, Jesus fell asleep. Why not? He was the carpenter. Leave the sailing into the hands of the fishermen, who were used to doing it. But then we read that a squall came down on the lake so that the boat was being swamped, and they were in great danger. Mark's gospel tells us that the disciples were afraid, which is a glimpse into their emotions, but the truth is that a person can be afraid even when they really don't need to be. But Luke adds that they were in great danger. Many of the disciples were fishermen who knew these waters like the back of their hands, and perhaps at the start they told everyone to calm down and it'll be okay. They had it all under control. But it wasn't long before even the most experienced sailors were fearing for their lives and running to wake Jesus up, screaming, Master, Master, we're going to drown. Now, I haven't spent a huge amount of time on the water, but enough that I understand how unnerving it can be when things start to go wrong. I'm not really sure what the disciples expected would happen when they woke Jesus up, be it simply for him to be a part of the bucket brigade or to do something miraculous. Whatever it was that they were hoping for or expecting, it doesn't seem that they were expecting what did eventually happen. Luke tells us that Jesus got up and he rebuked the wind and the raging waters. The storm subsided and all was calm. In Mark's account, we're told that Jesus spoke out the words, "Quiet, be still." And the storm was still. Now, the disciples had seen all the amazing things that Jesus had been doing, and his authority over the evil spirits, over sickness, and even over death, and all of that was amazing. And more, they were beginning to believe that this person whom they were following was the Messiah who was promised from long ago. But like the miraculous catch of fish in Luke chapter 5, this miracle suggests something more than just somebody that God has promised would come to rescue them. The person in the boat with them even had the authority to command nature, and nature listened to him. Who can do that but God alone? You see, all along the way, we find the limits of Jesus' authority being stretched more and more and more to the point that we come to see that he doesn't have any limits on his authority, as we hear in Matthew chapter 28, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. And when we can believe that, when we can trust that that is true, then we, like Jesus, can find ourselves calm in the midst of the storm, because we know he has everything in his control. In fact, one of the greatest transformations in the Bible is to notice Peter. Here he is frantic, running around, screaming, terrified, because they're maybe going to drown. But later in Peter's life, if we skip all the way to Acts chapter 12, on the night before he quite possibly is going to be put to death, although God shows up miraculously. But Peter thinks it's possible. What is he doing? Is he frantic, running around? No, what we find in Acts chapter 12 is that Peter is sleeping like a baby. That doesn't mean that there aren't scary things in life, but it means that when you have Jesus in your life, someone greater than those scary things is with you and is in total control.
You've been listening to Pastor Roger Viksnes of East Heartland, our speaker for this week on Bread of Life. a program to encourage you from God's Word.